Okay, if y'all want to mute your mics, and if you have a question, then you can open your mic and ask it. Don't be afraid to ask a question. And if you want to turn on your camera, we can all see each other, but that's up to you. I like seeing faces. So, but whatever y'all want to do. I'm going to go ahead and switch screens, get away from my little monkey, and go to what we're going to do today. Okay, so we're going to look at oral dosages today. I'm going to zoom this in. Most of our oral dosages are tablets. And I put this sheet on Canvas, but I just put it on there. Tablet capsules, caplets, and oral solutions. Okay, so we have all those. There's also sublingual, but this is still in a tablet form, so we'll still be given a tablet. The directions will say sublingual, so you have to make sure that when you're giving the medication, your supply is in sublingual form. We're going to use dimensional analysis. I'll move this over in a second. To solve our equations or to solve our answers.
It says my microphone is muted.
Good morning. You're Stacy, right? You would mute your microphone. That way I don't get any feedback. And if you have a question, you can unmute and ask your question. Okay. So we're just getting started talking about oral dosages. We're going to do dimensional analysis. And it always starts out with X and then whatever our dosage form is, whatever we're looking for. And when I'm asking how much are you going to give, how much are you going to administer, it's always for one dose. So we're looking for one dose. And the way we look at this, it's our doctor's order, whatever the doctor or whoever placed the order. So it's the doctor's order over 1 times our dosage form over our dosage strength. And then if I have to do a conversion, sometimes we will, sometimes we won't. A lot of these that we're doing today, you can look at them and tell how many tablets or capsules or whatever you're going to give. But the more practice we do with dimensional analysis, when we get into working with dimensional analysis, it's going to be a lot easier. Okay. So the more we practice, the better it gets. So if we look at this first example, this number 1, the doctor orders whatever the generic name is, and he orders 1 gram. That's the 2 things that we need from the order to calculate the dosage. From the supply or from the box or label, whatever you want to call it, I need to know the dosage form. And then in this case, that's the tablets. And I need the dosage strength. And that's my 1 gram. So to work this, I guess I should have scooted that over a little bit. So to work this, it's in tablets, so I'm going to look for the number of tablets I'm giving. It's going to equal my doctor's order of 1 gram. I always put that over 1. Make sure you put your unit of measure in there. Times, and then my supply. So my dosage form, which is 1 tablet, I'm just going to put tablet. And then over my dosage strength, which is the 1 gram. Then my grams are going to cancel. 1 times 1 tablet gives me 1 tablet. 1 times 1 gives me 1, and if it's over 1, I don't have to worry about it. So my answer is 1 tablet. If you don't overthink these questions, they are very simple questions. Oral dosage calculations is very simple for the most part. But a lot of times we will overthink it because, oh, it can't be that easy. It's math. It has to be hard. But no, not all math has to be hard. All right, so if we look at number 2, we have clarithromycin, 500 milligrams. And then I've got to check my label. It's Biaxin, Flimtab, and clarithromycin tablets. So it is clarithromycin, so I can give it. I have a dosage strength of 250 milligrams, and I have a dosage form of tablets. So I'm going to do the X tabs because I'm looking for my number of tablets. The 500 milligrams over 1. Then again, my dosage form, which is tablets, over my dosage strength, which is 250 milligrams. And then be sure and cancel out your milligrams, your units of measure. Then we can do this 2 ways. You can take 500 divided by 250. I can also cancel a 0 because I got a 0 on top and a 0 on bottom. So now I have 50 over 25. So 25 goes into 50 2 times, and that means that I'm giving 2 tablets. Now you can use a calculator on this, okay, because some of these numbers will get kind of weird, but the more you can do in your head, canceling, the better you'll be, the better nurse you will be. All right, so do I have any questions yet? Okay. All right, number 3 is clonazepam, 1.5 milligrams. And then the supply is Rivotril, whatever that is, clorazepam. I can't say half the name of these medication. And it says, I put a note up here because it says it on the box, but when I cropped the box, it didn't come with it. But these are scored tablets. If the tablets are scored, a lot of times they'll look like this, where it's just a tablet and it's got a line down the middle, or maybe it's a caplet and it's got a line down the middle. My husband takes a couple of big tablets that are cut. It's got 2 scored lines. So I can cut it into 4s. I can cut it and he can take 3/4. He also has a caplet that is drawn into 4s. If they're not scored, the medication is not evenly distributed within the tablet, so you can't cut them. If they're scored, then the medication is evenly distributed within the capsule or tablet, so it can be cut. But sometimes your medicine isn't always going to be a whole tablet. So let's look at this one. What is our dose? How much are we going to give? They're tablets, and they're scored. I don't know exactly how they're scored, but I'm going to assume that it can be any one of the, well, either one of those, because they're, I don't know, they could be the other 2. But anyway, it's 1.5 milligrams is what the doctor's ordered. And then I don't have to write scored tablet as my form. I can put just tablet as my form. And my dosage strength is the 2 milligrams. So I'm going to cancel my milligrams. And I have 1.5 over 2. And that'll be tablet. Now I can put that in the calculator and divide it out. I've done it enough today that I can know it's 0.75 tablets. So it's basically 3/4 of a tablet. So what I would do, you can't really cut just one corner out of a tablet, of a round tablet. So I'd cut it in half and then cut one of the halves in half, so I'd have 3/4. Now, if I've got a long tablet or capsulet, whatever you want to call these, then all I would have to do is cut 1/4 off, remove the 1/4, and he'd have 3/4 left. Okay, so he would take 3/4 of either one of these. So that's what he was taking. All right, so questions yet? All this is in your textbook. I just work it differently than what the textbook does. The textbooks use ratios and proportions. And this to me is so much easier. All right, so we have an order of levothyroxine, sodium, 0.05 or 5/100 of a milligram. My supply is Synthroid, but if you look at the generic, it's levothyroxine sodium. It also says that it's tablets. And then my supply or my dosage strength is I have 25 micrograms or I have 0.025 milligrams. These are equivalent dosages, are equivalent dosage strengths. So it's 25 micrograms or it's 25 thousandths of a milligram. We can use either one of these to solve our equation or to solve our dosage, calculate our dosage. I know it's in tablets. My order is 0.05 milligrams. Since my order is in milligrams, and to keep from having, to save a step or two, then I'm going to use the milligrams. So my tablet is my form. My dosage strength is 0.025 milligrams. So then my milligrams cancel. Now, if we remember dividing by decimals, I have to have a whole number in the bottom. So I'm going to move my decimal 1, 2, 3 places to the right, and I'm going to come up with 25 as my whole number. So if I move it 3 places on the bottom, I'm going to move it 3 places on the top, because whatever I do the bottom, I have to do the top, and I'm going to have to add a 0. So I don't need the zeros in front. So that's going to give me 50 on top. And then I can say 25 goes into 50 2 times, and I'm going to give, so therefore I'm going to give 2 tablets. Okay. You could also put 0.05 divided by 0.025 in your calculator, and you will still get 2. But if you're doing it by hand, you've got to get rid of that decimal out of the bottom. So questions? Okay. I would get the exact same answer if I worked it using micrograms. So if I use the 1 tablet is 25 micrograms, because a lot of people don't like dealing with decimals. They want to deal with whole numbers. So they choose the 25 micrograms. The only problem is now I have to do a conversion. And we have to remember that there's 1,000 micrograms is equal to 1 milligram. So micrograms is on bottom. So micrograms has to go on top. So my 1,000 would go on top, and my 1 milligram would go on bottom, because we want the units to cancel. So if I did 0.05 or 5/100 times 1,000, I would get 50. 1 times 25 times 1 gives me 25. I still have 50 divided by 25. I still get 2 tablets. So either way I work them out, I'm still going to get the same answer. It just depends on if you want to deal with decimals or if you want to deal with whole numbers. So you can choose that. I mean, personally, I always go with the same unit of measure, but you can go with whichever one you want to. So questions? So I'm going to put a little, throw a little curve in here. The orders for nitroglycerin, 0.6 milligrams, SL. SL is sublingual. Okay, so I have to make sure that the tablet I'm giving is sublingual. So am I going to give the nitrostate? And the nitrostate is nitrostat is nitroglycerin. Or am I going to give the nitroglycerin, which is extended release capsules? So the nitrostat is sublingual tablets. So would I give the nitrostat or the nitroglycerin? The nitrostat, because it is sublingual. So we got to make sure we give them the right one. And remember, the sublingual is the one that melts into the tongue and it gets into the bloodstream the quickest. The extended release, it goes into the stomach and it takes longer to get into the bloodstream. So we're going to use the nitrostat. This 1/200th of a grain, we're not even going to worry about it. Again, it's an equivalent measure, but we don't work with grains, especially since our order is in 0.6 milligrams. So I'm looking for the number of tablets. 0.6 milligrams over 1 times our tablet over 0.3 milligrams. Now I'm going to do the same thing I did earlier. Oops, first thing I'm going to do is cancel my milligrams. I'm going to move my decimal one place on the bottom. So I'll move it one place on the top. Now I have 6/3 tablets. 6 divided by 3, or 3 goes into 6 2 times. So I'm going to give 2 sublingual tablets. Okay. We all doing all right? I guess no noise is good noise. Remember that most of you are muted. You're good? Okay. So say, remember, most of y'all are muted, not muted. Oh boy. All right. Sometimes when I write orders, I cannot always find or I copy the orders out of a book somewhere, but I can't always find the drug label, medication label. So sometimes it'll be written like this. My order is chlorpromade. I have no clue. I'm guessing. At 1/10 of a gram. My supply is the same medication at 100 milligram tablets, and these are scored. That may play into the answer in a few minutes. So I'm going to start this out with how many tablets am I going to give? Or looking for the number of tablets. My doctor's orders, 1/10 of a gram over 1. And then times my dosage form, which is tablets, over 100 milligrams. So I'm going to have to take this, my milligrams and my grams, they're not the same. When they're not the same, I have to do a conversion. So I have to remember that in 1 gram, there's 1,000 milligrams. So since milligrams is on bottom, milligrams has to go to the top. So the grams will go to the bottom. And then all my units will cancel. Milligrams cancels, grams cancel. And I'm left with tablets. Now, one thing I'm going to do, and it's one thing I wish you guys, or girls, ladies, would do also, is I've got 2 zeros on bottom, which means that I can cancel 2 zeros on top. So I'm going to cancel my 2 zeros. That just means that I'm not adding a whole bunch of zeros or putting a whole bunch of zeros in my calculator. So I have 0.1 times 10 now, and I have ones on the bottom. So I really don't have to worry about the ones. But 0.1 times 10 is 1. And I'm in tablets, so it's 1 tablet. So do I have to worry that it's scored since I'm giving a whole tablet?
No.
No. It doesn't matter if it's scored or not if I'm giving a whole tablet. Okay. So this next one, number 7, get it to show up here. I have no idea how to say that, but I want you guys to try it. Okay. Give you a few minutes to work it on your own. You got 5? I got 1.5. Say that again.
1.5. I got 1.5 too.
Okay. 1.5 is what I got. So what do y'all think? This is pretty easy?
Yes.
Yeah. And the more you do it, the easier it'll get. So I'm going to give you guys 8 and 9 and let y'all work those real quick. Okay, so did y'all get 1/2 a tablet or 0.5 tablets for number 8?
Yes.
And 3 tablets for number 9?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
good. Okay. Let's look at something a little bit different. Let's skip over to number 12. This time we have an oral solution, okay? In our oral solution, the 5 milliliters of our supply is our form, our dosage form. The 20 milligrams, or whatever's before the word per, is our dosage strength. Okay, so that's what's different, is how our dosage strength and our dosage form is written. This is also called our supply dose. And then we still have our doctor's order. Still have to make sure that our medication's the same. We also have to check and make sure that they're both oral solutions. But the calculations are the same. So this time, since it's an oral solution, I'm looking for the number of milliliters I will give. So I'm still starting with my doctor's orders, the 30 milligrams over 1. My dosage form is my 5 milliliters. My dosage strength is my 20 milligrams. I'm going to cancel my units. And then I'm going to cancel my zeros. So I got 1 0 on the bottom, 1 0 on top. And then I'm going to multiply. 3 times 5 is 15. 1 times 2 gives me 2. And then 15 divided by 2 is 7.5 milliliters. Okay, so there's nothing really different other than what our dosage form is. All right, if we look at number 13, I have penicillin 5 potassium, 1 gram by mouth 1 hour before pre-op dental surgery. And then the supply again is a penicillin 5 potassium. It's an oral suspension. It's 250 milligrams per 5 milliliters. Sometimes penicillin is ordered in units, so many thousand units. If the doctor had ordered 1,000 units, I would use the 400,000 units per 5 milliliters. But since he ordered grams, I'm going to use the 250 milligrams and not worry about the 400,000 units. Again, that's equivalent measures. So since this is an oral suspension, I'm going to be looking for the number of milliliters. I have 1 gram is my order. And then my dosage form again is my 5 milliliters. My dosage strength is my 250 milligrams. I have grams and I have milligrams. So this means that I'm going to do a conversion, because if they don't match, I've got to convert them. So again, 1 gram is equal to 1,000 milligrams. And since milligrams is on bottom, milligrams has to go to the top. So I have 1,000 milligrams on top. I'll have 1 gram on bottom. That way all my units cancel. I've got a 0 on top that I can cancel with a 0 on bottom. So then I have 5 times 100 gives me 500. And then 1 times 25 times 1 gives me 25. So 25 goes into 500 20 times, which means that I'm going to give 20 milliliters. Okay, so any questions? Now do number 14. Stupid phone. Spam calls in the middle of class. I don't need those. Okay, so what I did, took my doctor's order, 0.325 grams times the 5 milliliters over 325 milligrams. I had to do my conversion since I was in grams and I need to be in milligrams. So I did 1,000 milligrams to grams. And I had 3 zeros here. So if I multiply 1,000 times 325, I'm just moving my decimal to the right 3 places because I have 3 zeros. So that gives me 325 times my 5 milliliters. And then I have 325 on bottom. So my 325s cancel and I'm left with just 5. Now I'll say this again. If y'all want to do this, if you want to put the 0.325 times 5 times 1,000 in your calculator, get your answer, and then divide it by the 325, then make sure I see what you're doing, and I'm fine. Put it in your calculator. I'm just trying to show you another way of doing it so that hopefully at some point you'll catch on. Okay, so we okay still? Yes, no, maybe?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right. This is the last one we're going to work because, like I said, this was, supposed to be pretty easy. So we have another one I can't say, hydrochloride, 25 milligrams. I got the same medication. It's an oral solution, and it comes to 6.25 milligrams per teaspoon. So teaspoon's one that we haven't used yet, okay? So I'm looking for the number of teaspoons I'm going to give. But we set it up the same as we have been. My doctor's orders of 25 milligrams over 1 times my form, in this case it's teaspoon, over 6.25 milligrams. So I have 25 divided by 6.25. And then this morning when we did this, I thought they said 40 teaspoons. But if you put 25 in your calculator and come out with 6.25 and you get 40, that's a lot of teaspoons, right? So, yeah, this is where if you get something like this, some outrageously large number, you want to go back and double check your math. Make sure that you didn't hit an extra number, or make sure that you hit the correct numbers, because the answer is really 4 teaspoons. And what I did is they were dividing it in class this morning, and I just misheard, which happens to me a lot. Okay, so do y'all have any questions?
Not right now.
Okay. I don't have it posted yet, but I will get it up just here in a few minutes. There should be a homework assignment for oral dosages. If you don't see it in a little bit, then that means I'm having trouble finding it, but I will get it up this week. Thursday, we're going to look at Chapter 11, peritoneal. I never can say that one right either. Some of these words just are so foreign to me, but it means injections. So we're going to look at our injectables and giving injections. And then after that will be Chapter 12. I think the next test will cover 10, 11, 12, and 13, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm going to let you go. Y'all have a good afternoon. I hope y'all saw my message last night that if you need to go access the computers or anything at Mark Tree campus, you have to call and make an appointment. If you need me, I'm on the Jonesboro campus like I always was. We're still open here. So y'all have a good week, and I will see you. Turn my camera back on so you can see me. I will see you all next week.
Okay.